Good afternoon. Today we are going to study a new poem by Donne. The title is Elegy 19, to his mistress going to bed. I think Yeats must have took a lot of things, a lot from this poem, and we are going to go through this poem. To his mistress going to bed. Come, madam, come. All the rest my powers defy. My powers defy all the rest. Until I labor, I in labor lie. Until I labor, until I lie in labor. Therefore, oftentimes, having the foe inside, is tired with standing, though he never fight. What does it mean? This is a kind of conceit comparison, a special comparison. The poet is going to talk about what? Love. They are going to make love, right? Man and woman, they are fighting. It's a kind of what? Metaphor, right? Love making is compared to fight, war, right? So the foe, oftentimes having the foe inside, is tired with standing, though he never fight. Off with the girdle. Off with the girdle. What is a girdle? What is a girdle? Girdle is girdle, right? This belt is girdle, right? Girdle, right? Off with the girdle. You put on clothes and what? Finish with the girdle, right? So take off your clothes, right? Off with girdle. And let's look at this expression. Off with the girdle, and then unpin, right? Off with the girdle, unpin that spangled breastplate which you wear. So you can find the expressions a few times, right? Off with the girdle, and then unpin, pin, unpin, right? And also unlace, lace, unlace, verb, right? And then off with the happy basque, and then off with that wiry cornet. Now off with those shoes, and then things like that, right? And then look at this, full nakedness, everything removed, right? You become naked, right? So off with the girdle, like heaven's John glittering, right? Off with the girdle like heaven's John, glittering. But a far fairer world encompassing. A far fairer world encompassing. A far fairer world. What is the far fairer world? Is here? The world is what? A far fairer world. Naked body, woman, naked, right? Far fairer, right? So, but a far fairer world encompassing. Unpin that spangled breastplate which you wear, right? Breastplate, maybe something like bra, outer. Okay, and unpin the spangled breastplate which you wear, that the eyes of busy fools may be stopped there, right? Right? Yes. And unless yourself, for that harmonious chime, tells me from you that now 'tis your bedtime. That harmonious chime, what kind of sound is it? The harmonious chime, right? The bell tolls from the church, right? Maybe in the big house there must be a chime, clock, right? So chime. So unless yourself for that harmonious chime tells me from you that now 'tis your bedtime. It is your bedtime, right? Off with that happy basque, which I envy. Okay, there's a footnote here, one. Footnote one, corset, corset. Okay. Off with that happy basque, which I envy, that still can be and still can stand so nigh. Your gown, nightgown, going off, such beauteous state reveals, as when, like what? As when from flowery beach, the hill shadow stills, okay? The hill shadow stills. Off with that worry cornet, something like the headgear, cornet, and show the hairy diadem, cornet, diadem, all same thing, which on you doth grow. Now, off with those shoes. And then safely tread in this love's hallowed temple, this soft bed. Okay, safely tread in this love's hallowed temple. This expression, safely tread in this hallowed temple. In Yeats's poem, he wishes for the close of heaven. There's a poem entitled, "He wishes for the close of heaven." You'll find this kind of expression, softly tread. Instead of safely tread, Yeats uses softly tread, right? Safely tread in this love's hallowed temple, this soft bed, in such white robes. If you go to the end of the poem, you'll see. Okay. This is the okay. Wonders row. Okay. There's an expression that walked in naked. Yeats uses the same expression. Let's go back. Okay, yeah. Okay, in such white robes, heaven's angel used to be received by man. Thou, angel, you, angel, thou, brings with thee a heaven like Muhammad's paradise, though ill spirits walk in white. We easily know by this, these angels from evil spirit, the angels, evil angel sprite, right? Those set there our hairs, but these are flash upright. Okay, next expression. License my roving hands. License my loving hands. What does it mean? Let me touch you. Let me touch every part of you, right? This is wonderful, right? Let them go, let them hand. Let my hands go. Before, behind, between, above, below. Fantastic. Right? Have you seen this kind of expression? Right? Yeah. Have you ever thought of this? Before, behind, between, above, below. What does it mean? The hand travels all of the body, female body. Right? Have you ever thought of this expression? Never, right? So wonderful, right? This is the adverb, of course. Before, behind, between, above, below. If you turn them into prepositions, you can supply, right? Between what? Right? Behind what? And between, before, behind, between, above, below. Fantastic, right? So, oh, my America, wonderful. John Donne is very erudite. He knows everything. He knows what is going on, right? He knows even, he can imagine what is going on in heaven, right? Planet. So probably at the time, America must have discovered, or they want to discover new continents. India, right? To get rich, right? So. Oh, my America, my newfound land, my kingdom, safely when manned with one man, safely manned with one man, meaning himself, right? My mine of precious stones, right? In these stones, you what? You look for diamonds, right? So my mine of precious stones, my empire, footnote 3, empire, okay, empire. How blessed am I? This typo. How blessed am I in this discovering thee? How blessed am I discovering thee in this? How am I? How blessed am I discovering thee in this? To enter in these bounds is to be free. To enter in these to enter in these bounds is to be free. Do you think so? Fall in love with someone is to be free. To be in prison, I think. Okay, and anyway. To enter in these bounds is to be free, semicolon. Then where my hand is set, my seal shall be, my seal shall be set. Full nakedness. Finally, she's naked, without anything on her, right? All joys are due to thee, all joys are due to thee. As souls on bodies, wonderful. As souls on bodies, bodies must be unclothed. Souls unbodied. This is only Donne could do this. Souls unbodied, right? Becomes spiritual. Body becomes spiritual, right? Souls and bodies. Bodies must be unclothed. In order to what? To taste whole joys. To taste whole joys. To taste whole joys. Jams, which you women use, are like Atlantis bowls. Footnote 4 is okay. Okay. Footnote 4. The golden apples dropped by a suitor in foot phrase with Atlanta, the flea-footed huntress of Greek myth, in order to distract and delay her, Donne, here adopt the myth into his own use. Okay. Okay. Gems which you women use are like Atlantis bowls, casting man's view, cast in man's view, right? cast in man's views. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, four words. Okay, that when a fool's eye lights on a gem, his earthly soul may covet their souls, right? Theirs, not them. Like pictures or like books, gay coverings made for laymen. Like books, gay coverings, right? The picture on the book covers, right? Made for laymen are all women thus arrayed. Themselves are mystic books, right? Women themselves are books, right? Which only we whom their imputed grace will dignify. Must he reveal then, since that I may know, as liberally as to midwife, show thyself. Midwife, right? When the midwife helps a woman give birth to a child, they are naked. So be naked like as before midwife. So he is what? I'm midwife, right? So be liberally as to a midwife, show thyself. Cast all, this white linen hands. Here is no penance, much less innocence. To teach thee, I'm naked first. To teach thee, I'm naked. So he is naked. He is going to teach something, right? Okay, why then? Then T-H-E-N, then, right? If you go to the footnote, T-H-E-N here is then. Why then? What niche thou have more covering than a man? Okay. The sunbeams in this star spread. The sunbeams in this star spread. Live, fair bride, your solitary bed. No more shall you return to it alone. It knoweth sadness, and your body's print. What does it mean? Body's print. Bedspread. You leave this trace, right? Body's print, like to a grave, the yielding down. Dost dint, verb, dent. Like to a grave, you and your other, you meet there, anon, now. Put forth that warm, balm-breathing thigh, breathing sigh, which when next time you in these sheets will smother, there it must meet another, which never was, but must be oft more high, more nigh. Come glad from thence, go gladder than you came. Come glad from thence, go gladder than you came. Wonderful. You'll be happy, right? Okay. Today, put on perfection a woman's name. This is refrain. It's repeated again and again, right? So it's kind of what? Pleading. Come and have a good time with me, right? Put on perfection. Daughter of London, you which be our golden mines and furnished treasury, you which are angels yet still bring with you, okay, you which are angels yet still bring with you thousands of angels on your marriage days, angels on your marriage days. Okay, footnote 3. Help with your presence and devise to praise. 3 and 4. Footnote 2. Indent 3. English old coins devise. Oh, the angels, the angels on coin, right? Engraved on coin, right? Let's go to the. Okay. You which are angels, still bring with you thousands of angels on your marriage days. Help with your presence and devise to praise these rites. which also unto you grow do, conceitedly address her and be assigned by you, fit place for every flower jewel, make her, this is fit, I think, fit, right? Make her full of fit fuel, as gay as Flora and as rich as Indy. Indy means India. As gay as Flora, flower. Flora and fauna, right? Flora and fauna. Flora and as rich as Indy. So may she fair, may she be fair, rich, glad, and lame in nothing. Meaning perfect, right? Lame in nothing. Today, put on perfection and woman's name. Okay. And you frolic, something wrong, politicians, right? Sons of these senators, wealth, deep oceans, ye painted courtiers, barrels of other wits, ye countrymen who but your beasts love none. Ye of those fellowships whereof you, his one, of study and play made strange hermaphrodite. What does it mean? Having both sexes, right? Here shine, this bridegroom to the temple bring. Lo, in yon past with store of strewed flowers great. Yeats took this too. He wishes for close to heaven. He uses this idea. So, in your path, graced with which is graced of strewn flowers, right? Here, right? The Sava Virgin place, except my sight fails, teach no other thing. Weep not, nor blush. Here is no grief, no shame. Today, put on perfection and the woman's name. Okay, next stanza. The two-leaved gates, what does it mean? The two-leaved gates, fair temple unfold. Two-leaved gates? Two-leaved gates? What is it? Maybe lips? Or something more essential, right? Two-leaved gates, fair temple unfold. Okay? Let's see. And these two in thy sacred bosom hold, till mystically joined, but one, they be one. Then may thy lean and hunger-starved womb long time expect the bodies in their tomb, long after their own parents fatten thee. All elder claims and all cold barrenness, all yielding to new loves, be far forever, which might these two devise, right? Always, all the other may each one possess. All the way, all the other may each one possess all the other, right? Okay. For the best bride, best worthy of praise and fame, today present perfection and woman's name. Oh, winter days bring much light, not for themselves, but for they soon bring night. This idea, who took this idea? T.S. Eliot, right? Wonderful, right? So, other sweets wait thee, meaning await thee then, these diverse myths. Other disports, then dancing jollies. Disports, sports, right? Sport. Other love tricks than glancing with the eyes, but that the sun still in our half sphere sweats. He flies in winter, but he now stands still, yet shadows turn. Noontime, he hath attained, his steeds will be restrained. This kind of image appears in Shakespeare's Venus and Adonis, right? His steeds will be restrained and gallop lively down the western hill. Thou shalt, when he hath run the world's half frame, tonight put on perfection and woman's name. The amorous evening star is rose. Again, in Yeats's, one of Yeats's poems, the woman rose, a rose, right? So, is rose. Of course, rise, rose, risen, but PP, right? The amorous evening star is rose. Why then should not our amorous star enclose herself in her wished bed? Release your strings, musicians and dancers, take some truce with these your pleasing labors for great use, as much weariness as perfection brings. These ideas Yeats took. Right? Yeats, among school children, there was an image of a dancer, and the poet says, you cannot distinguish between the dance and dancer. So same image here, right? Same image here, right? Same. Release your strings, fiddler, right? Plays the violin. Fiddler, release your strings, musicians and dancers. Take some truce with these your pleasing labors for great use, as much weariness as perfection brings. You, and not only you, but all toiled beasts rest duly at night. All their toils are dispensed, but in their beds commenced. Commenced are their other labors and more dainty feasts. So something is happening here, right? She goes a maid. She was a maid. Who last she turned the same, okay? Tonight I put some perfection and woman's night. The virgin girdle now untie. The virgin girdle now untie. And in thy nuptial bed, love's altar, lie a pleasing sacrifice. Now dispossess thee of these chains and robes which were put on, to adorn the day, not thee, for thou alone, like virtue and truth, best in nakedness, right? Here, this is a verb, right? You are best in nakedness. You are best in nakedness. This idea was taken by Yeats again in another point. So it's a kind of a what? A treasure house, right? So Yeats took a lot of things from here, right? So the bed is only to virginity, a grave, but to a better state, the cradle. Till now thou wast but able to be what now thou art, then by thee no more be said, I may be, but I am. Tonight put on perfection and the woman's name. I may be, but I am. What I am, what I may be, right? Even like a faithful man, content that this life for a better should be spent. So she, the mother's rich style, doth prefer, and at the bridegroom's wished approach doth lie, like an appointed lamb, when tenderly the priest comes on his knees to embowel her. Now sleep and watch with more joy, and O light of heaven, tomorrow rise, thou heartenary, the sun will love so dearly her rest, that long, long we shall want to sight. Wonders are wrought for she which had no maim. Tonight put some perfection and the woman's name. So her rest, that long, long lest, we shall want to sight. Wonders are wrought. So what kind of poem is it? Right? Fantastic, right? Okay. There is a scholar who talked about this poem in full detail, and we're going to read the essay. Clay Hunt. The 19th Elegy, this poem, is the most astonishing performance of Donne's early phase as a brilliant young practitioner in the verse of wit and impudence. Wit and this is full of self-confidence and full of what? Wit, right? It is an easy poem to enjoy and to understand in general, and much of it needs no explanation to anyone past the age of 12. You are more than age, right? You can appreciate it. But after a loosely written and worldly conventional beginning, the poem suddenly rises to verse of passion power, and it concludes with a closely contrived passage of perverse philosophic ingenuity, which is one of Donne's most intricate and exciting pieces of intellectual virtuosity. It is this latter half of the poem, especially the concluding section, which is worth our attention. These are the passages which make the elegy something more than a piece of mere clever indecency. It's more than a clever indecency, right? The elegy belongs almost certainly to the early or middle 1590s, to the period when Donne was writing poems like The Indifferent, and it was clearly written against the particular social and literary background which I've described in discussing that poem. Donne expects his reader to be familiar with some of the stock imagery of Petrarchan love poetry and to be struck by the novelty in his treatment of the standard poetic proposition that a love affair is a war and the mistress the loved for, that the mistress is an angel, that love is religious devotion, and that the mistress's beauties are the treasures of the India. He is writing also against the background of the general debate between the body and the soul, right? Usually Donne is what? They combine the two things, the spiritual and body, the physical, which was the dominant intellectual issue in the literary treatment of love in the 1590s. The two most sharply opposed points of view in this debate can be roughly identified in their literary manifestations with the Ovidian and the Platonic traditions in Elizabethan love poetry. Those theorists on love who espouse the doctrines of Renaissance Platonism look on the body as inessential temporal clothing for the eternal reality of soul, and believe, if they carry their doctrine to its ultimate conclusion, that the rational lover not only should aspire to rise above sensuality, but might hope to advance beyond even a purely spiritual union with the soul of woman, progressing up the steps of the stair of love until his love was finally consummated by the union of his soul with God in the mystical experience. Standing against the Platonists was a group of philosophical opponents who thought this conception of the essential nature of love absurd. To this school, who found their chief literary ancestor in Ovid, love was bodily passion, unhampered by reason, where both deliberated. The love was a slight. True love, in their view, was the irrational and satisfying experience of mere lust. As Elizabethan reader would have had some hint of what to expect of Elegy 19 from the verse from itself, as a poem about love, written in heroic couplets entitled an elegy. It is cast in the currently fashionable literary form derived from the Avis Amores. It was to be expected that a poem in this form would adhere to the Ovidian tradition, that the author would align himself with the proponents of the body and celebrate the techniques of seduction from the sophisticated point of view of a man about town, and that his literary style would display his ingenuity and wit in elaborate conceit. Donne does not disappoint these expectations. The elegy seems to present an actual dramatic situation. The poem is apparently spoken by a lover who is lying in bed waiting for his mistress to join him. It is cast in the form of an argument urging her to undress and get into bed, and it maintains a certain argumentative character throughout. But the latter part of the poem evolves into what is less direct address to the mistress than a transcript of the private workings of the lover's excited imagination as he anticipates the successive stages of his lovemaking. At the end of the poem, the mistress is still undressing and her lover is still waiting for her. When we have finished the poem, the dramatic situation which it presents appears to be less an actuality than a vivid imagined fiction. The Elegy is a dramatized love letter, an Ovidian verse epistle to an only monthly coy mistress. Donne starts the poem powerfully with one of the explosive, threatening openings which are among the distinctive facts of his love poetry. The first 4 lines derive from one of the most common of the Petrarchan conventions, the comparison of love to welfare. But Donne freshens his stale conceit by exploiting its latent dramatic possibilities. He makes the beginning of the poem a call to battle, possibilities of warfare. Possibility. He makes the beginning of the poem a call to battle, vigorous challenges delivered in a tone of swagger and arrogance. And the sexual puns which he scatters through these lines produce tough, anti-romantic quality that accentuates the brusque tone suggested by the call to battle image. After this promising beginning, the rest of the opening section, lines 5 to 24, offers little more than an exercise in the mannerism of the genre. This passage is jaunty, self-confident, right? And conventionally indelicate, but it has very little dramatic continuity and no central artistic structure. It presents merely a string of disconnected, flashy, far-fetched conceits enlivened by sexual innuendos. Donne is straining to be novel and clear, but what he writes in these lines is simply a routine performance in the conventional manner of Ovidian erotic verse. But the poem comes to life again after the slackness of these lines in the dramatic power of the following section. The exuberant exploration conceit of this passage has become a locus classicus to illustrate the passion and imaginative excitement which the Elizabethans found in geographic exploration in the discovery of New World, America. But the emotional power of Donne's image is the counterpart of a lively intellectual elaboration which explores the analogy in precise detail. The basic metaphor, a comparison of physical beauties of the mistress to the material riches which the Indies offered to the Renaissance boys, is one of the commonplaces of Elizabethan love poetry. But Donne's dramatizing imagination works this routine material to sharp concreteness in the treatment of both the metaphor itself and the sexual experience that it describes, which is presented with an almost anatomical precision. The lover addresses the mistress in the specific role of an explorer who is requesting a royal patent license, right? Which will permit him to discover new lands, explore its unknown riches, conquer it, and having established himself as his autocratic monarch, bring it under the firm mastery of his civil authority. The political implications of the conceit are sharpened by allusions to some of the commonplaces of Renaissance political thought, to the view that an autocratic monarch is the most stable form of government, line 28, and to the doctrine that the ruler's freedom in exercising power is offset by the responsibilities, bonds, which that power entails, line 31. This development of the conceit comes to a dramatic climax in the final line of the passage, which presents the lover's assumption of full command over his mistress in terms of the authoritative conclusion to a legal document or proclamation. To this I have set my hand and seal. The pun on seal in this line, like the other sexual ambiguities throughout the passage, parallels the particularity of the metaphor with an equally concrete realism in presenting the experience to which the metaphor refers. These lines present then a splurge of virtuoso wit in Donne's elaboration of a detailed parallel between the lover's sexual advances and the discovery and political subjugation of a new land. The exploration image dramatized vividly not only the lover's passionate excitement, but also his exultant sense of power in his sexual mastery of his mistress. And the cadence of the verse, the slow, powerful surge of rhythm through before, behind, between, above, below, to the outburst of "Oh, my America, my newfound land," underscore the metaphoric suggestion of rapid physical passion. The fact of the emotional climax of the passage in line 32, like that of the opening of the poem, is one of bold and swaggering theatricality. This effect of cumulative intensity carries over into the exclamatory opening of the following section and is sustained throughout the passage as the lover exactly imagines the whole joys of sexual consummation and the intellectual ingenuity which has been operating in the preceding section drive to a climax of virtuosity in lines 33 to 45 as Donne launches into an intricate and detailed analogy between the ecstatic physical consummation of this affaire de corps and the consummation of furious spiritual love and the religious ecstasy of a beatific vision. The link which relates this piece of breezy blasphemy to the general subject of the mistress's undressing is the conventional clothing metaphor, suggested in line 34 to 5, an image which Donne often used in his later serious treatments of spiritual love and of the mystic experience. Since those who regard love as essentially an impulse of soul, thought of the body as a mere evanescent clothing for the eternal reality of spirit, the mystic ecstasy might be thought of as an experience in which the soul divests itself of its temporal clothes and when naked to immediate contact with God. The basic intellectual maneuver which Donne performs at this point in the poem is simply to turn the stock metaphor upside down. The fanciful argument which this section of the poem develops reduces then to the following logical proposition, which is implied in lines 34 to 5. Since the beatific vision is like taking off your clothes to experience full joy, then taking off your clothes to experience full joy is like the beatific vision. This argument is expanded in the passage as a pseudo-theological validation for nakedness and lust.